My screen is visible to all, or somebody has problem?
Visible.
It's visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Visible, sir.
Okay. Voice is audible? Clear voice
Yes,
is
sir.
there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Audible.
absolutely.
Okay. Now, in the morning session, we have disconnected due to the network problem. That's why I repeat the same topics, because some students have not joined in the morning. Just for revision, listen carefully. Okay. Our title, course title is Manuals Fertilizers and Soil Fertility Management. Course number is SSAC 353. Accordingly, the course content we have covered in this PPT. Likewise, the introduction and importance of the organic manure. Whatever the organic manures are there, bulky organic manure, concentrated organic manures, green leaf organic manures, and its properties and their methods of preparations, we will be going to study in this course. Along with that, the different kind of fertilizers. As we know that the organic farming is in the boom nowadays. But at the same time, we should not forget the fertilizers also, because these are the rich source of the nutrient, and we have to connect with them also. As a agriculturist, only organic farming cannot fulfill our whole needs. That's why we should stick up with the integrated nutrient management. Fertilizer recommendation approaches are there. On the basis of that fertilizer recommendation approaches, we can differentiate the crop-wise fertilizer doses, like cereals, vegetables, pulses, fruit crops, plantation crops, spices, forestry species, etc., etc. Okay. Then the integrated nutrient management. I think all of you know about the integrated nutrient management. We have gone through the different components of the integrated nutrient management, different importance, whatever the importance are there regarding the nutrient integrated nutrient management. Here in integrated nutrient management, we are going to compile all the sources, integrate all the sources of the nutrient. Okay. Likewise, we are going to study in this course chemical fertilizers, nitrogenous chemical fertilizers, phosphatic fertilizers, potassic fertilizers, different mixed fertilizers, complex fertilizers, and their classification accordingly, and composition and their properties also. Here the soil amendments also we are going to study. Do you know the word amendment, soil amendment? Kindly raise your hands if you know that word. If you don't know, then it's okay. Just post on the chat box. We don't know. If somebody knows, then he can raise his hand and he can ask. Okay, Vijay Jalgaonkar, yes.
Sir,
Unmute
soil
yourself
amendments are
first.
the. Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
Soil amendments are the substance which are used to reclaim the acidity or alkalinity of the soil.
Yes, it's right. Soil amendment means the chemical or organic, any substance which can reclaim, means which kind of the changes are desirable, that can be changed with the help of these amendments. The amendments, just a minute. बोलो. काय प्रॉब्लेम काय? लाईट गेली तर डिस्कनेक्ट होईल, फार तर फार काय होईल, सोडून द्या, परत बघूया. असू द्या. ओके, ठीक आहे. हॅलो, सॉरी फॉर डिस्टर्बन्स. I will continue with this class. Soil amendments are the chemical or organic substances which can reclaim the soil as per its desirability. Means either if the pH is strongly acidic, then we can reclaim that soil with the application of the lime. If the pH is strongly sodic or sodium contents are more or saline, then we can reclaim that soil with the help of the gypsum application, as well as sometimes with the help of the iron pyrite or elemental sulfur also. These soil amendments will help us in reclamation of the soil. In these kind of soils, the nutrients are present, but due to these kinds of abnormalities, these nutrients cannot be taken up by the plants easily. That's why we should first reclaim them, then we can treat them as a fertile soils. As I had told you, I think in first semester, I have told you one statement. In that statement, I remember that all the soils are fertile, but all the fertile soils are not productive one. All the productive soils are fertile, but all the productive soils are not fertile one. These kind of statement I have given to you last in first semester course. Same, this statement is applicable here. That means all the fertile soils are not productive one because the fertility is there, but due to some reasons that nutrient cannot be taken up by the plants easily. But all the productive soils are fertile one. The statement is likewise. Okay, and along with them amendments, fertilizer storage, fertilizer control order will be going to study in this course. Then history of the soil fertility and plant nutrition. Whatever the soil fertility entered in the agriculture field, how the soil fertility occurs, how the plant nutrition shows the means nutrient shows the importance in the plant nutrition. These kind of the which scientist has given the which role of the nutrients. Likewise, we will be going to study in this course. Criteria of essentiality. You might have heard about this criteria of essentiality since last 3 years because you are in the third year. That means in the physiology class also you heard about that. In soil science class also, in agronomy class also. Almost in every classes or every course, you might have gone through this criteria of essentiality. What is mean by essential nutrient? Can anybody tell me? Just you can raise your hand. Hello? Yes, Ishwar.
Sir, the essential nutrients means which are such a type of nutrients which are important to plant that their position or their nutrient can't take place by any other nutrient. म्हणजे सर त्यांचा
Your
जो
voice is not that much clear. Please speak loudly. Somewhat
हॅलो
louder.
सर
Yes.
असे न्यूट्रिएंट ज्यांचे म्हणजे काही स्पेसिफिक फंक्शन असतं त्या प्लांटसाठी जे दुसरं कोणताही न्यूट्रिएंट त्या प्लांटला करू शकत नाही म्हणजे देऊ शकत नाही ते
Yes, definitely. The essential nutrients are those nutrients which are specific for each and every crop. काय म्हणता? मेन पीसीचा असेल तर जस्ट वेट फॉर अ मिनिट जस्ट अ मिनिट
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
माझी आवाज येते का
Yes, sir.
सगळ्यांना?
हो सर.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry for disturbance. Yes, the criteria of essentiality is according to that 3 criteria are given by the unknown in STOT. In that, each and every nutrient should be specific in the plant metabolism. Its role should be specific, which cannot be replaced by any other nutrient, and it should be involved in the metabolic activities of the plant, without which plant cannot complete its life cycle. These are the criteria which will be look after, and in that roles, deficiency, toxicity symptoms of all the essential nutrients. Along with that essential nutrient, beneficial nutrients also will be studied. Then mechanisms of the nutrient transport, also you have gone through that. Different kinds of mechanism of nutrient transport like mass flow, diffusion, and root interception. Factors affecting that nutrient availability, that is also already covered in your first semester course, but it is the part of the nutrient management. That's why it is involved in this course also. Chemistry of soil nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, secondary nutrients and micronutrients. These are also the topics which we will be dealing with within this course. Chemistry of all nutrients means what? Simply nothing but the transformation of the nutrients within the soil. As, say for example, when we apply any kind of fertilizer or organic matter into the soil, what kind of changes become in these soils? And different soil types are there within, even if we consider only Maharashtra state, then even also we are dealing with the different types of soils: black soil, medium black soil, red soil, saline soil, coastal saline soil. These different kinds of soils are there. That's why all the chemistry of the nutrients varies with the type of soils. That's why we have to study these kinds of the chemistry of the nutrients. If we add any kind of the nutrient source, then how it become available to the plant, that we are going to study in this course. Then the soil fertility evaluation. What are the objectives of that soil fertility evaluation? Why should evaluate the soil fertility? Why to evaluate the soil sample? Why to test that soil samples? These are the different objectives of this, and that also we will be covering in this course. Critical levels of different nutrients. Everything. If you see, when we go to the doctor, that time the doctor says us to check your CBC, blood test, etc., etc. At that time, what we do, simply we do that, take a sample of the blood, then check it, and after the getting report, then we will show that to that doctor, and the doctor recommend that on that basis of that blood report, how much amount of the hemoglobin is there, RBCs are there, WBCs are there. On that basis, they're going to treat us. They're going to prescribe us. Same here, also with the soil fertility evaluation, soil testing, on the basis of soil testing report, or on the basis of different factors of the soil, we will be going to recommend the different nutrient status, or the method of application, type of application, and different sources of the nutrients on these basis. Okay, these also we will be going to cover in this topic. Now, the forms of nutrients. This should be in the first, obviously, because the different nutrients are going to be studied in this chapter, in this topic. But which form is available to the plant for that nutrient? Say, for example, phosphorus. Phosphorus is present in the soil in different forms, in organic also, in inorganic also. Like potassium. Potassium is also present in the different forms. When the water soluble potassium is present in abundant amount, then the availability of potassium is more. But at the same time, if the water soluble potassium is less, even though we are adding the potassium to fertilizers, then the crop shows good responses. That is the reason there are some criteria of availability of nutrient. Only the specific form of that nutrient can be available by the plant and can be taken up by the plant. If the form get changed within the soil also, then also it will not be available to the plant. Like potassium is available in K plus form, means ionic form. Nitrogen is available is NO3 minus form, NH4 plus form. That means these ionic forms are only the form in which plant can take these nutrients. If these forms are not present in the soil, but that nutrient is present, but not in these forms, then that is none of use. Means that nutrients will not be available to the plants. We cannot say these nutrients are available in the soil. These nutrients are present, but not in the available form. These nutrients are present in the fixed form or other forms, which will not be of use. Okay, these type of form studies, type of analysis of the soils, plant analysis and indicator plants, that will be going to study in this course. Then methods of fertilizer recommendations. Different kinds of crops we are growing here. For all these type of crops, methods of fertilizer recommendation should be different. Like cereal crops are having different doses. By the different methods, long duration crops are having different doses by the different methods of application. Likewise, different crops should have different fertilizer recommendations. That's why we will be dealing in this course also, because our title is directly shows that manures, fertilizers and soil fertility management. Means what? Not only the properties manufacturing of the manures and fertilizers, we are not restricted up to that. Will the fertility management also, and that should be balanced. Only the recommendation is not the purpose. How to manage that recommendation, that is also one of the purpose. If you say, for the example, I think all of you have transplanted the rice. If you are doing in the practical, agronomical practical, in that seedlings, nursery stage, and then transplanting, uprooting the seedlings, then transplanting. All you have done that works. During that, if the fertilizer applications you have saw there, then briquette application was there, might be there. The briquette application in between the 4 points of the paddy, you have to apply one briquette. If that management is wrong regarding that briquette application, then the recommended dose should hamper. And along with that, the recommended dose also hampers, and the response of that nutrients also hampers. That's why the only recommendation of that fertilizers is not important, but the management aspect is also much important. That's why we should balance these both the things. Okay. Again, that factor influencing the nutrient use efficiency. What is meant by nutrient use efficiency? Nutrient use efficiency means nothing else. Whatever the nutrients we are adding into the soil and how much amount of the nutrient is taken up by the plant. That is the nutrient use efficiency. That means what amount we are adding to the soil and what amount is utilized by the plant, remaining the loss. That is the nutrient use efficiency. And factors affecting nutrient use efficiency, we are going to study in this. Methods of application under rain-fed and irrigated. Both are having the different conditions. Rain-fed crops are having different conditions. Irrigated crops are having different conditions. That's why the methods of applications should be different. Okay. Now, can everybody see this figure on your screen?
Yes, sir.
This figure shows simply that plant requires few things to grow. For growth and development, like sunshine, sunlight is there. Like oxygen, CO2 means gases are there. Like H2O means rainfall is there. Soil for supporting, and in soil these nutrients are given: N, P, K, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, Fe, Mn, Zn, Cu, boron, molybdenum, nickel and chlorine. Likewise, other nutrients are also there which plays important role in plant growth and development, but they are not categorized as an essential nutrient. That's why we have not given here these nutrients. Like silver plays an important role in the plant growth and development. Silica shows an important role. Likewise, the sodium shows an important role, but they are not categorized as essential nutrient. That's why we have not given here. Okay. Now, the macronutrients. What is mean by macronutrients? Simply nothing but the nutrient required in the higher quantity. These nutrients are called as the macronutrients. The macronutrients are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, N, P, K, calcium, magnesium, sulfur. These are categorized as a macronutrient. In between these macronutrients also, we can differentiate them as a basic nutrients, primary nutrients, and secondary nutrients. Basic nutrients are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Why these three nutrients are called as a basic nutrients? Can anybody tell me? Why the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are considered as a basic nutrient? Is there any reason behind that? Raise your hands. If you know the answer, then raise your hand. Time is running fast. I think you will have a meeting at 5 p.m. That's why just fast. Vidya, yes. Unmute yourself and speak. Yes, yes. You are not audible. Speak loudly. Vidya? Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes, Komal Bharti.
So, because carbon is present in the atmosphere and it helps in photosynthesis to make carbohydrates.
Okay, that means you are only telling about the carbon. What about the hydrogen and oxygen?
They are basic, na? So, because water is combined by oxygen and hydrogen only.
Okay, thanks for trying. Just we all know about that carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. If we combine these three, it forms carbohydrates. Simply, okay. These carbohydrates are considered as a basic structural unit of the plant. That's why we consider these three nutrients as a basic nutrients: carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Isn't it? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are considered as a primary nutrients. Sometimes sulfur also considered as a primary nutrient for only the oilseed crops, not other crops, only for the oilseed crops. Okay. These are the forms of the nutrients. Is nutrient which is available to the plant in both form, anionic form and cationic form. Anybody tell me that ionic form, what is mean by ion? Just write on the chat box also. You can write on the chat box also. Yes, somebody has raised hand. Sandeep Rajmane and Komal Bharti. Yes, unmute yourself and speak.
Sir, any element having plus or minus charge.
बोला संदीप.
Sir, any element having plus or minus charge, that is the ion.
तुमचा आवाज येत नाही, थोडा लाऊडली बोला.
Hello, sir.
हाँ बोला.
Any element that having plus or minus charge, that is called as ion.
Okay, that means any element or atom which is having charge on it, that is any molecule and ion which is having charge on it, that is called as the ion. NO3 minus, NO4, NH4 plus. Phosphorus is another primary nutrient which is present in the soil in different forms, H2PO4, HPO4, PO4. Its availability varies with the pH of the soil. Okay, in acidic soil, the availability of phosphorus in different forms. In basic soil, the availability of the phosphorus in different forms. Means its availability varies with the pH of the soil. Likewise, all the nutrients taken up by the plants in only ionic form. When we add any kind of nutrient into the soil with any source like FYM, compost, or chemical fertilizers also, urea, SSP, and other fertilizers. These form cannot be directly taken up by the plant. It should be converted into the ionic form first, then it gets solubilized in the water. That water is known as the soil solution. Then the plant can take that nutrients in the ionic form from that soil solution. This will be the conversion. This will be the conversion of that organic manure or fertilizers when we add these kind of fertilizers or organic manure in the soil. Okay, these are the forms in which the plant can take these nutrients. Then the micronutrients. The micronutrients are needed in the very less amount. That's why these are known as the micronutrient. Like Fe, Mn, Zn, Cu, boron, molybdenum, copper, zinc, and chlorine. All these are the micronutrients. And these are the forms in which they are available to the plants. Mostly the cationic form of nitrogen micronutrients are there. Only three forms are anionic form: boron, molybdenum, and chlorine. Okay, the nutrient deficiency symptoms. How the nutrient is deficient, shown in the figure. Deficiency range, sufficiency range, and toxicity range. These three different terms are there, on which basis we can differentiate the deficiency, sufficiency, and toxicity. These are given in the critical limits of the nutrients. When we consider the lower critical limit, that means the below lower critical limit, that means the nutrient is in deficient range. When the nutrient is present in the optimum level, means medium level, then the nutrient is present in the sufficient range. When the nutrient is present in beyond the upper critical limit, then that nutrient is present in the toxic range. These are the differences between the deficiency, sufficiency, and toxicity range. And we can differentiate these deficiency and toxicity, but quite difficult to differentiate because some nutrients are showing deficiency symptoms. The same symptoms are there for the toxicity of the other nutrients. That's why sometimes it is difficult to differentiate, but almost all the nutrients are having the specific properties to differentiate them. That's why we can differentiate easily. Sometimes problems are there. At that time, we should go for the analytical part, and then we can recognize then whatever the nutrient deficiencies are there or toxicities are there. Say, for example, in acidic soils, the toxicity of ions are there. If the iron toxicity is there, then the calcium deficiency may occur. Due to the higher concentration of the iron, some amount of the calcium cannot be taken up by the plant. Likewise, if in black soil, black cotton soil, if you go for the black soil, the black cotton soil, BCS, in that the calcium concentration is more. At that time, calcium induced iron deficiency may be there. Likewise, the toxicity and deficiency both goes parallel. Okay, this is the mobility chart of the nutrients in which the mobile, variably mobile, and immobile nutrients can differentiate. In these mobile nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, iron, chlorine, and nickel, These are considered as the mobile nutrient. In immobile nutrients, calcium, boron, manganese, and cobalt. Similarly, simply 4 nutrients are there which are immobile one. What is the major difference in mobile and immobile? Last question. I will not ask any question after. Raise your hands. What is the basic difference between the mobile and immobile? Just 1 minute is remaining. Fast. Yes, very true. The mobile elements can move from one place to another place, and immobile element cannot move from one place to another place. That means whatever the nutrients present in the plant can move to overcome that deficiency. That is mobile one. If the deficiency occurs, then that nutrient cannot move from one place to another place. That is immobile one. That means we can rectify the nutrient deficiencies in mobile ones, but we cannot rectify the nutrient deficiencies in immobile one. For that, we have to foliarly apply these nutrients only, isn't it? That's why we cannot reclaim them as it is. We should apply the foliar application at the time of the deficiency occurs. Okay. This picture definitely shows you that how the nutrient deficiencies occurs. The mobile element.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Just this picture clearly shows that the deficiency symptoms on the different parts of the leaves plant. The mobile nutrient shows the deficiency symptoms in the lower leaves because it overcomes the upper leaves deficiencies, and the immobile one shows the deficiency in the upper leaves. Okay, these are the two terms, antagonistic and synergistic effect. Antagonistic effect means the same nutrient shows negative impact with the other nutrient. Synergistic effect means the same nutrient mutually play roles with the other nutrients. Means mutualism is there, that is synergistic effect. Antagonistic means the opposite roles are there. If potassium increases, the boron decreases. If the phosphorus increases, the zinc decreases. Likewise, the antagonistic effects are there, and if the molybdenum increases, it automatically increases the nitrogen content. Likewise, the synergistic effect is there. Means synergistic effect shows the positive responses and antagonistic effect shows the negative responses. What we have covered still, content of the course first, forms of macro and micronutrients, deficiency symptoms and toxicity part. Still we have to cover that part, but we'll cover it in tomorrow's lecture, because you have a lecture or meeting on 5 p.m. That's why we'll stop here. Tomorrow onwards we will start with this nutrient deficiency, toxicity and roles of that nutrients. Okay. We can stop here.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.